The film Veronica opens with a terrifying emergency phone call on June 15, 1991, where a panicked teenage girl is screaming that something is coming to get her brother. The story then flashes back 3 days earlier to show us how this nightmare began. Veronica is a 15-year-old girl living in the working class Vallecas district of Madrid, with her widowed mother and 3 younger siblings, twin sisters Lucia and Irene, and a little brother named Antonito. Her father has passed away and her mother works long hours at a bar, which means Veronica has essentially become the parent figure for her siblings. She cooks for them, gets them ready for school, and takes care of the household while struggling to be a normal teenager herself. On the day of a solar eclipse in 1991, Veronica's teacher explains in class how ancient cultures believed eclipses were powerful times for summoning dark spirits and performing human sacrifices. This plants an idea in Veronica's mind. She desperately misses her father and wants to contact him, so during the eclipse, she sneaks down to the school basement with her 2 friends, Rosa and Diana, to perform a séance using an Ouija board. They believe the eclipse will give them extra power to reach the other side. As they begin the ritual, the atmosphere becomes increasingly tense. The glass cup they're using as a planchette starts moving across the board, and suddenly it becomes burning hot. The eclipse reaches totality and everything goes dark. The glass shatters violently, cutting Veronica's finger and causing her blood to spill onto the Ouija board. Veronica becomes unresponsive, her eyes rolling back as she whispers something incomprehensible. Then a horrifying demonic scream escapes her lips before she finally snaps back to consciousness. After this botched séance, Veronica begins experiencing terrifying paranormal activity. She feels watched constantly and sees shadows moving in ways they shouldn't. Her friends, Rosa and Diana, are so frightened by what happened that they start avoiding her completely at school, desperate for answers. Veronica returns to the school basement where she encounters an elderly blind nun that the students call Sister Death, or Hermana Muerte. This creepy nun has an otherworldly presence about her, and she tells Veronica something chilling because the séance was interrupted and never properly closed. Veronica has opened a door to the spirit world that she cannot close. A dark entity has attached itself to her and followed her home. Sister Death warns her that this entity is dangerous and growing stronger. At home, the paranormal activity escalates rapidly. Veronica starts seeing disturbing visions and hallucinations. She sees a tall, shadowy figure lurking in doorways and corridors. The figure appears faceless and menacing, always watching her. Objects in the house begin moving on their own. Doors slam shut violently. Strange sounds echo through the apartment at night. Most terrifyingly, her younger siblings start to be affected as well. The twins begin speaking about a strange man they see in their room at night. Little Antonito becomes terrified to be alone. Veronica tries to protect them, but she's fighting something she can't see or understand. She draws protective symbols on the walls and doors, trying anything to keep the entity away from her family. She barely sleeps, staying up to watch over her siblings while her mother remains oblivious, always at work. The situation grows more desperate each day. Veronica's appearance deteriorates. She has dark circles under her eyes and looks exhausted and haunted. She tries to get help from Rosa and Diana, but they refuse to have anything to do with her anymore, terrified of what they witnessed during the séance. Veronica feels completely alone in her nightmare. The entity becomes more aggressive, physically attacking her. She's grabbed by invisible hands, dragged across rooms, and choked. Bruises appear on her body with no explanation. The mirrors in the apartment become particularly frightening. Veronica sees disturbing reflections that don't match reality, including images of herself looking possessed or dead. The twins start sleepwalking and behaving strangely, as if they're being influenced by the dark presence as well. In one of the most disturbing sequences, Veronica experiences a horrifying vision where she sees herself and her siblings dead in various locations around the apartment. The entity seems to be showing her what it plans to do to her family. She realizes that the demon isn't just haunting her, it wants her entire family. This realization pushes Veronica to take drastic action. She believes that if she performs another séance, this time doing it correctly and closing it properly, she might be able to send the entity back and shut the door she opened. But Rosa and Diana still refuse to help her, leaving her with no other option. Desperate and running out of time, Veronica makes the terrible decision to involve her younger siblings in attempting a second séance. She knows it's dangerous, but she feels she has no choice. The entity is already after them anyway, and this might be their only chance to stop it. She sets up the ritual in their apartment, drawing protective circles and preparing everything as carefully as she can. The children sit around the Ouija board together as Veronica tries to command the spirit to leave. But things go horribly wrong almost immediately. The presence becomes violent and chaotic. Objects fly through the air, furniture moves, and an invisible force begins attacking them. The children scream in terror as the apartment descends into supernatural chaos. Veronica, realizing she's made everything worse, manages to get to the phone and calls the police in a panic. This is the emergency call we heard at the beginning of the film. She's screaming that something is coming for her brother, that they need help immediately. When the police officers arrive at the apartment, they find a scene of absolute horror. Veronica is being attacked by what appears to be an invisible force. Her body is being thrown around, and she seems to be fighting against something they cannot see. The officers try to intervene, but are helpless against the paranormal assault. In the most chilling revelation of the film, it becomes clear that Veronica herself has become possessed by the entity. The demon is using her body to hurt her siblings, making her the very threat she was trying to protect them from. The film's ending is deliberately ambiguous and tragic. The police report from the actual incident mentions unexplained paranormal phenomena, marking it as Spain's first official police case file that documented supernatural activity. In the movie's final moments, we see photographs of the real Veronica with her siblings, smiling and happy, a stark contrast to the horror we've just witnessed. The implication is that Veronica died that night, unable to escape the entity she accidentally summoned. Her attempt to contact her deceased father instead brought something evil into her world that destroyed her. The film suggests that her love for her family and her desperate attempt to be both parent and protector ultimately led to her doom. She was just a teenager forced to carry adult responsibilities, and when she reached out for help from the spirit world, she found only darkness.